Alright guys, so I had a YouTuber tell me about his Kia or Hyundai engine that he changes his oil every 2,000 miles and it comes out as clean as it went in. Kudos to you, and I believe he said he has 50,000 miles on it and he doesn't have any oil consumption issues. He doesn't have any engine issues. It's smooth, it's quiet, and I believe this practice. Every vehicle's engine, every driver's habits and conditions. Rachel uses Super in his car, and I would bet you if you checked all these cars out here, nobody's using Super in their car. They're probably using the cheapest grade gasoline. So every scenario is different. So if you take we're just going to say Rachel Saab, and you give this Saab to 10 vehicle owners and you let them go on their way on how they maintenance it, you're going to have 10 different outcomes. And why is that? Because everyone's driving habits are different. Everyone is not going to maintenance the engine oil the way that they're supposed to. One person may store it in his garage. The other person may not store it in his garage. The other guy may beat the crap out of it, or girl beat the crap out of it. So you would have 10 different scenarios. So, meaning that those 10 different vehicles all are going to require 10 different maintenance practices, right? You can't just go by what the book says. Going by what the book says is going to get you a new engine. That's what it's come down to. So the guy who messaged me recently about the video is Who's to Blame. He said that he has no issues with his Kia 4-cylinder engine changing his oil every 2,000 miles. So, and I'm going to say I agree with you. If Kia and Hyundai, and we're just going to use them as an example, educated their consumers that you cannot drive this vehicle no more than 3,000 miles, right? And we're taking a lot of variables out of this, or you will suffer severe internal engine damage and issues. And I believe that. So, and the more and more people who come to the channel and say their experience, the more I will say, and I agree with you, changing your oil is far cheaper than having engine issues or engine problems. And he goes on to say that he just goes to Walmart and he buys a jug of oil and it's $40. And so what? He's changing his oil every 2,000 miles. Now, he probably could push that to 3,000 miles and watch the color of it, because the color is telling you what's going on. If the oil is changing colors, right, from the bottle to your engine to the drain pan, then deposits are being left behind. And as soon as you get to a certain point in different engines, those deposits are going to stick and cling at different in different situations, right? It's not going to be the same for a Kia as a Saab, as a Chevy, as a Ford, but there is some similarities, and it's the oil not being able to do its job, and the engine oil not being able to do its job at a certain interval. So I'm going to use this guy as an example. At 2,000 miles, the engine, whatever the micro molecules that it's collecting in the oil that he can't see with his eye, because believe it, they're there, are not to the point to where they're going to cause engine failure or engine problems or engine wear. So if he sent that out and had it tested like some of these guys do, they could tell him how much metal's in there, how much carbon molecules are in there, blah, 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 and on and on and on. There is a certain amount of the carbon molecule that the engine oil can no longer absorb or take on, and then it's going to leave those deposits behind, and then that's the way it goes. What you don't want is leaving engine deposits inside your engine, leaving deposits inside your engine. And every engine's different, and every scenario is different. But I would say, I assure you, this guy out here who just said that to me in the comment, he's probably never going to have a time and chain problem. He's never going to probably have a phaser problem. If he has carbon buildup on his valves, it will probably be so minute at 100,000 miles, although he still should continue to do regular GDI services just for maintenance. But you can't say that they just built a crappy engine. They built an engine that they never educated their consumer on how to maintain. And you can't just say it's the blanket effect. One blanket fits everyone. You can't say, okay, well, because the industry's saying that we can all go 5 and 10,000 miles on our oil changes. It doesn't mean that you as an individual, the way that you drive, the environment and the place that you are. So kudos to that guy. Extra maintenance is good, right? And if you don't mind changing your oil, it's really a good thing to do. And it's almost like a hobby, right? So he's probably really into changing his oil, and kudos for him. But every vehicle is different. Every vehicle requires a different maintenance practice, in my opinion, today. But yeah, you can't tell me, and I hope more people will come forward on the channel and say, hey, I have a Kia or a Hyundai or a Chevy or whatever the case may be, because if the more you become aware of the oil consumption issues, the more educated you will be on how to take care of it. It's just like taking care of yourself. Once you have a problem, we'll just say poison ivy, for instance. Once you identify with poison ivy and you're allergic to it, you will avoid that situation for the rest of your life. And the same thing for, if you buy a new car and the engine fails out of warranty, and then you're stuck and you're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that again. But then you have people who will step in shit twice or 3 times or more. I'm sure I've done it myself quite a few times, but you don't want to avoid that. You want to avoid those situations. But kudos to this guy. Thank you. I believe in your practices. I would say you probably could go to 3,000 miles, but you really need to analyze that oil at 2,500 miles. And even with your eyes is perfectly fine. Drain the oil and save it. Like, say, here's my 3,000 mile oil change in a clear vial. And here's my 3,500 mile oil change in a clear vial. Or 2,500, say 20. So 2,000, you know what it is. 2,500, and then 3,000, and take a look at the color changes, because the color changes are coming from what's going on inside the engine. And then you could probably see how much further you could push that.